if you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life, right? Live an honorable life. Doing good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. Because to be wise, in effect, seems to me, in part, if I'm wise, then I'm humble. If I'm wise, I'm humble. That seems, well, maybe the way that we handle it sometime, and it seems like it's in conflict. To be wise is to be humble, where, everything that wisdom entails, it would tempt you to be anything other than humble. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, if wisdom has those things that I put up there initially, having to do with learning and knowledge and insight, etc., I'm tempted to be less than humble. But the truth of the matter is, if you're truly wise, you realize where you get your wisdom from. You realize this ain't you. Somebody, this ain't me. This is God at work in me. Amen. When things are rolling, when wisdom is at play, that's from the Lord. Yes, it is. Is anybody ever, you put yourself in a position where you make a sound decision where everything in you and around you was begging you to do something dumb, do something foolish, right? To puff up again. But there go God, right? He's giving you wisdom. He's giving you the ability. And listen, and he does it like this. I think some foolish people, when we are foolish, we think that if it's God, he's making enough noise to be heard. But the Bible indicates that there are times when he comes in a still, I think it said, in a quiet voice. All right. It's children, it's immaturity that's railing and making a lot of noise. You and your wife ain't running around the house yelling and screaming and everything. It's your grandchildren or your children, right? Right? That felt very cold, like there was a big separation between what I was saying and what y'all was feeling. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a foolishness, and here God is, knowing that wisdom is so powerful and so altering and so changing of the circumstance. It is so life-giving that by its nature, it doesn't need to yell. The danger is in that is that it means, doesn't it, that you got to pay attention or you'll miss it. You got to be quiet before God so you can hear what he has to say to you. He's very personal. And his wisdom is. There's a lot of it, most of it that, I'll say a lot of them, that applies to all of us. But in terms of circumstance or a particular situation, how do you know which thing to do if you're not hearing from God? I found everything, as a father, as a husband, as a son, as a preacher, as a pastor, as a business person, as a this, that, and the other, that I can't just pack up 8 things that are wise and apply them to everything. Have you found this to be the case? Same set of circumstances, and the wise thing to do in both of them is different. A little to the left, a little to the right. And so having the discernment, having the wisdom of God, and you have to have that humility to accept it and make it and allow it to work in your life. But if you are bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't cover up the truth with boasting and lying. I'm trying to get somewhere. Go ahead. I stayed there too long. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. I'm being quiet because ain't no use of me commentating. I just giving you room for that to go down well, right? And for you to do with that what you need to do with that in your own life. Yeah? Right? For whenever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind. I will make one comment as we move to 17, and that is this. I find that sometimes disorder and foolishness in a household or in a group of family, that kind of thing, it's obvious what the unsaved people are doing. It's because they can't control, right? But sometimes the discord has something to do, or is not being solved, or is not being addressed by the humility of the religious ones of us. Sometimes you can communicate what your family, especially extended, is doing and what's wrong, or what's wrong in your office, what's wrong in your business, what's wrong. And sometimes you're missing that sometimes what's wrong is your lack of examination of how you, oh Christian person, are handling everything. Sometimes other people's stuff is so obvious that you focus on it, and it allows you to not be humble about the secret or the subtle faults that you are bringing to the problem, to the party, to the family, to the office. I'm tempted to say, you see what I mean, but I'm not going to say that because you know what I mean. Right? You ready for me to move on because you don't want to deal with that. But that has to do with the humility that is attached to wisdom. Do you understand that? So many times it isn't us. It isn't them as much as it is us. But the wisdom from above is first of all pure, which means what I was just talking about, it tells the truth better, right? I'm going to tell the truth. If I'm in fault, if I'm in debt, if I'm in a part of this, I'm going to tell myself the truth first of all and most of all before I start yapping to other people. It is also peace-loving. It is also gentle at all times. That rubs me the wrong way, because at all times is not what happens with me, which I'm ashamed of sometimes. And willing to yield to others. It is full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. That's wisdom. So I'm going to say this on our behalf. So it sounds like if we had more wisdom, we'd have better interactions. We'd have better relationships. If we had more wisdom, we'd have better lives. Right? And so today, that's kind of, I'm trying to set up what we're going to talk about, where it isn't just cute little sayings that I'm talking about, because we can move into Proverbs. But these are pieces of the big pie of God making wisdom available to us. Does that make sense to everybody? The man declares, I have to shorten this part, but we're starting out in wisdom in Proverbs. So this is just contemporarily, meaning in the day and time of this man and his, his dad and everybody else in their community. This is the man declares, I am weary, O God. I am weary, O God, and worn out. We read that earlier from a different place. Surely, he says, I am too stupid to be a man. I have not the understanding of a man. I'm going to try to read this and sit down, but I'm going to stop here and just make this point. And this will be the next few verses as well. What is glorious about this is that don't this sound so human? Don't this sound so real in terms of life? I ain't going to ask you to do it, but how many, because, yep, I was feeling stupid yesterday. Don't raise your hand. I felt disconnected in every way from God. And what this is saying in terms of feeling stupid, feeling weary, worn out, I feel disconnected from God and people. Anybody? I know people say they understand, but I don't think nobody really understands me and my stuff, what I'm going through, the path I'm trudging on. I'm just trying to do right by everybody. I'm failing everybody. Right? I'm just in this place. And this man says this, we don't even know where he's from. We don't even know what the name of his country is. I can't tell you what century this is from, right? Other than just a general makeover, but I can't zero down a century at all. Oh, and by the way, not just but because none of the scholars that I study have any real sense. They can just say this period of time. But he feels the same way you feel. All right. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new. And my problems and your problems are real, and they're our problems, but they're not unique. I'm going to make a suggestion because it bothers me. I think people should stop saying, I know, I'm just crazy. You ain't crazy. You're human. The crazy thing makes it sound like I'm so unusual and distanced from everybody else. No, you ain't. You burp like everybody else does. You cry, your agonies, but what about my load? Okay, I'm not going to point to other loads, but the majority of the world, the vast majority of the world, would take in a heartbeat any USA load that you were willing to put on them. All right. Did you hear what I said? You ain't got to agree, but do you understand what I'm saying? Bless God that things are as well in my life as they are. I'll keep saying that. I bless God that they're as well in my life as they are. You know, one of the reasons I'm able to do that, because I got a newspaper. Yes, I still get newspapers. Because I got, I got news things on my phone. I see what's happening in Sudan. And this one, and that one, and the other. Yeah, I'll take things being as well in my life, in this place, as they are, without even thinking about it. I bless God for this time and where we are. And you know what I think that does? It gives you room and opportunity to be grateful and to take your gratefulness and to be full of good works. All right. Amen. Why wouldn't I respond to God and those around me with aggression and holy aggression and with a sense of enthusiasm the way God has blessed me?